Hey everyone! Today we're going to do a quick overview of the Seawing tribe and how I like to draw them. I've been working on putting together a set of Wings of Fire bases, so I thought it was a good opportunity to talk about drawing techniques in relation to tribes. More and more over the last couple of years, I've been trying to figure out how to make the different tribes more visually different, besides the obvious stuff like frills or spines or scale patterns. Things like body type and size can go a long way toward giving your tribes personality. Also, of course, I tend to mix my design theories in with logic about how the tribe would function in their environment. So we're going to start with Seawings, since they're one of my favorite tribes. One thing I've always thought about Seawings was that they should be one of these smaller Wings of Fire tribes. I imagine them as thick, with rounded body types and more blobby shapes. There's not really a hugely genius reasoning behind this. I just really like the idea of the Seawing tribe tending toward more compact shapes. Not like burly and intimidating and like thick like the mudwings would be, but softer and rounder. With plenty of spikes and fins and spines and stuff to give them a cool contrast to that shape, but overall a rounder body type. Speaking of fins and frills and spines and whatnot, I feel like this is one of the best ways we can help give each Seawing character such a unique feel to them. Everybody likes to draw their Seawing fins differently, and I've definitely seen some pretty unique takes on it over the years. This is honestly one of my favorite things about, looking around at other people's Wings of Fire bases, because everybody likes to do them so differently. Between, their own art style, but then also their opinions on scale design, body type, size relations between the different tribes. It's just so neat to see what everybody thinks about the different tribes. Anyhow, I think Seawings would have smaller wings since they tend to do less flying. If Seawings have evolved enough to have gills, they've clearly been a water-based tribe for a long time, which means their wings would be meant for swimming too. Perhaps they even have trouble flying long distances because their wings aren't really meant to bear their full weight. I actually think this was mentioned somewhere in the series, that they tend to want to mix flying long distances with also swimming for part of it. I don't remember perfectly, but anyhow, it's food for thought. I picture them with shorter, rounder wings, not great for flying in the sky, but perfect for catching sea currents and maneuvering in bodies of water, since after all, this is where Seawings would conceivably spend most of their time. As far as glowing scales, I'm honestly pretty divided. Part of me knows that if they use their scales as a language, with certain scales meaning certain words, as explained in Book 2, then logically all Seawings would need to have the exact same scales. Otherwise, this just wouldn't work. But frankly, this doesn't really make much sense because there's just so many words and not nearly enough scales. Even if they were using different scale combinations, which I think is also explored in Book 2, it would be way too much. It really makes more sense to me to imagine the Seawings using a combination of gestures, sounds, and something closer to Morse code to communicate. Plus, this lets every character get a unique twist to Seawings' most interesting feature. It lets me draw glowing scales however I want, which, let's be honest, that's what I do anyways. I always kind of wonder about the whole communication thing in the back of my mind, but when it comes down to it with my art, I tend to just do whatever looks good and then try and explain it away. I think Seawings would also have overlarge ears and paws. Ears because I think it's cute, paws because it would help them swim. Also, I like to think the pads on their talons would be rough and thick, to help them grab things like coral, sharp shells, or spiny fish. It has been mentioned in the books that they have very sharp, large talons to help them catch fish, and I think that having rough pads on their paws would also help with that. It would probably be rougher, in fact, than most of the other tribes, since there are a lot of sharp things in the water, more so than, on land. And of course, we couldn't have Seawings without my favorite feature, that big, thick tail. I love this part of their design. Although I enjoy drawing long, elegant tails such as in Rainwings or Silkwings, I gotta say, I adore drawing Seawing tails. I think they'd be used to help them swim, of course, but also to fight, as shown in literally any scene with Tsunami, whether as defense against some of the other large ocean predators or each other. It's been mentioned in the past that Seawings can see in the dark, and I would extend that to some kind of echolocation as well. Although this has nothing to do with their, visual design, I just think it's something that's neat to think about. We see tons of other ocean animals in the real world with this ability, and I just think it would be another neat thing for them to have in their arsenal. I really do think that unlike almost any other tribe, Seawings are something truly different, since all the other tribes are land animals. Although some of them, like ice wings or leaf wings or mud wings, are built for highly specific environments, sea wings obviously take the cake for unique habitats because, hello, underwater? One of the reasons I've always loved sea wings so much, though, is, yeah, their colors. Blue and purple are my favorite shades to work in, despite what my green Sona might have implied, so I always enjoy getting to color sea wings. For this recording, I did end up coloring Tsunami, but I also went back and did a few more character references using this base, so I'd have them for future reference. Anyways, that's most of what I have for body types. I think sea wings are definitely one of the smallest tribes, probably tied with sand wings. However, I would also imagine they're pretty strong compared to some tribes, especially for their size, since living underwater and moving in that kind of environment would require constant exertion. What do you guys think? How do you like to draw sea wings, and have you gotten any new ideas since watching this video? Be sure to check out the description to find links to my DeviantArt, Redbubble, and Patreon. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching, and please have a wonderful week.
Rise up from the ashes, wings on my back, stay lit like a matchstick. We ain't coming back, I swear. Just let go and see what happens. Gotta let go to see the magic happen. They got us a quick change, so we like a